8 weeks down, 55 weeks to go in this whole crazy process of retiring my parents from our business before the end of 2026. This past week was filled with a tremendous amount of things, from a trip to Florida to a bunch of planning and preparation and a lesson that I wasn't expecting. So, in this week's episode, I'm going to recap my time in Florida. I'm going to share the progress that we've made this week in the process of retiring my parents, and I'm going to share with you why team is everything. So at time of this recording, it is December 12th, Friday, December 12th, and this past weekend I had the opportunity to be in Clearwater Beach, Florida with a group of amazing action coaches to learn from them, to share experiences with them, and ultimately get to share some knowledge. I got to stand up on stage and share some things that we've been working on. And I'm going to give you a quick reflection on that in just a moment. But what was really cool about this is a couple things. One, it reaffirmed for me the importance of community. So, here in our Action Coach business, we've got a community of other action coaches around the world. And having the opportunity to go sit in a room with other action coaches that are all looking to do very similar things in their business and their lives to impact other businesses in their community, and just learning and sharing experiences with them is just almost second to none. It's just an incredible experience to go through that process. So as I'm thinking about this for you, when you're watching this, find your community, find the like-minded people. Use online forums like this, but find a way to be in community because it fires you back up. It gets you so much more excited and gives you all of that energy and support necessary to keep going, even when times get tough. But this wasn't the only reason that we were in Florida. And I am super excited to share the news of something that just happened after loads and loads of work and it has nothing to do with this business. Before I get into that, I'm going to share the clip that I recorded on Sunday of last week before going up on stage, reflecting on a few things. I'm going to share that for you right now. I'm sitting here in Clearwater Beach, Florida, getting ready to go teach and share some knowledge that we've been really working through over the last 90 days, but really just a culmination of the last 3 years. But that's not why I'm recording this morning. I'm recording this because I am sitting in a hotel room overlooking an incredible view with a cup of coffee, having just gotten a little bit of a run done, and reading a note that my wife left for me. As I'm recording this, before I go down and do my thing here, she is actually driven down to Sarasota, is in the process of running a marathon to see if she can qualify for Boston. Everything that she has been through in the last 2.5 months, I just got to say how incredibly proud I am of her. In this message, which I'm not going to show you, was her handwritten note that she wrote for me and left for me here in the room to find. I can't fully put into words how it made me feel. She is so incredibly special. I'm so thankful, so grateful to have her in my life. So I don't think any of this stuff that we do, from a business perspective, all of that is possible without having someone like this in my life consistently, who's there and willing to support me. So if you watch this later on, honey, I love you. Now, you got to check this out. This is my view. I got to sit here and just hang out and look at this while I have my coffee as I mentally prepare and get everything ready for the conversation that I'm going to have with these fine folks here in Florida. Let's see if I can get this in place here. There we go. But if there's anything that I'm taking away from this weekend that I just want to share, just incredible amounts of alignment, incredible amounts of community, this group that I've been able to spend a couple days with now has just reminded me of how powerful those elements can be. And it's just super exciting to be here and be a part of it. With that, I'm going to finish my coffee. I want to review my presentation. I'm going to get ready to go do my absolute best just to give value back today. So obviously at time of that recording, I'm sitting in the hotel room waiting to see what's happening. And Kari, my wife, is literally out in the middle of her marathon running in at that moment. I'm getting ready to head into the conference, and she is probably a few miles in at this particular point. Fast forward, she crushed it. Oh my gosh, I am so absolutely unbelievably proud of everything that she has accomplished, and she crushed it. Ended up being the first overall female, set a female course record, and qualified for Boston in 2027. Ran a 3 hour, 18 minute. It was a personal record by I think 3 or 4 minutes. Just absolutely unbelievably insane. I was so excited to be able to see that news coming off stage and be able to look down and see, I think, about 25 different messages and pictures and photos and videos and all of this kind of stuff. Kari, if you watch this later on, I just got to say, I am so proud of you. Way to go. You crushed it. And I can't wait to see all of the amazing things that are ahead of you in your journey. So, community, success. What an incredible trip. And why this is, I think, so critical at this particular point in time is when we do this reflection and take a look at being able to dedicate so much time, energy, effort, sacrifice for an outcome or a goal, like Kari did in the marathon, like we've been doing in the business. It's a great time to kind of take a step back and say, what are the things that I want to accomplish next? I have now achieved this thing, but it's not always the pursuit of the achievement itself. It's the pursuit of the achievement. It's the journey that we go on. How do we grow as individuals as we go through this process? So this week's progress has all been about planning. And I know I recorded a short video on the process of getting into planning mode here as we wrap out the year. But this week has really been into it. And the best way to do this. So when we break this down into what has been this week's progress in towards the pursuit of retiring my parents from the business by the end of 2026, it's been laying the groundwork. So this week has been mapping the connection points between what I want to achieve personally, my other businesses that I'm a part of, for our Action Coach business. How do we map the connection points to them all so that we put the focus where it needs to be in order for the overall outcome? And sometimes the biggest thing that we need to do is take a step back and say, what is the big thing I want to achieve? What is the singular focus for this next year? Instead of having a whole bunch of different things, like I want to achieve this and I want to achieve this and this and this and this, it's a moment to step back and say, what is the through line between all of those? What is the one major thing that I'm going to be focused on so that when things inevitably come up and shift and change and the path doesn't quite go as I had anticipated when sitting down and writing all these plans out, what is it that I can see? What is the thing that drives me forward that says, even if I have to take a detour, I know that I'm still coming back around to this end goal? So what's been really cool is this has really culminated back into a reaffirmation of the fact of the goal, the thing that I'm going to write down on a little index card, and this is the thing I'm going to hold up, is retire my parents from the business by the end of 2026, which gives me 55 weeks to go. The importance of this is in the pursuit of that, I will become the person I need to be to achieve my other goals. The business will become the type of business that could hand off passive income, that can work without us, that could be sold, that could be acquired. We could go and scale it. Like, it gives us all of the tools necessary to be able to take the next step, whatever that next step ends up being for us. So finding that one thing has been really important. So this week has been sitting down, pen to paper, extracting as much as possible from my mind on what are the connection points? What is the thing that I really want to achieve? If I go to bed at night and I just can't stop thinking about it, what is the thing that comes out of that? And it was a reaffirmation of this big goal to systemize the entire business and get it to work without us. Ultimately, the end result being retire my parents by the end of 2026. So you take this, and there's two major things that I focused on that I would recommend for you to also do when you have time over the next couple of weeks as we head into the first of the year. And that is to one, extract knowledge. Ask questions, whether you work with a mentor, you work with a coach, or you just simply sit down and have an AI tool that can help ask you questions. You can just extract things out of your brain. So, for Action Coach specifically, I'll use that as kind of my primary example. Just yesterday, I was sitting down, we were going through kind of the planning piece, and I've got kind of this general outline of what I am thinking about, what I want to accomplish, and what we want to accomplish as a business. Some of the financial milestones, some of the team members that we're likely going to need to bring on. So I've kind of written some of that out, and I shared it into a chat GPT thread and essentially told it, hey, here's kind of the overall idea, roadmap, kind of plan that I've been thinking about that I'd like to take in this next part of the business. And I'd really like to bulletproof this. I'd like to go through everything necessary so that we can build the budget and the forecast to be able to achieve that goal. Really refine what the milestones are. And ultimately, what I want you to do, Mr. or Mrs. ChatGPT, my little chat thread, and what I want you to do is I want you to ask me clarifying questions, poke holes in it, ask me as many questions as possible so we can build the best possible plan moving forward. So I sat with this machine for, I don't know, 2 hours ish yesterday, and it asked me 55 questions that just reiterate back and back and back and back so that I could continue to extract this information out of my head. And this went from tactical things like what is the average dollar sale? How many clients do we currently have? To, what are the business lines and how do we think about this and where are the things that aren't working today? Go look at your marketing data. What channels were the best? Which ones didn't work as well? Asking for numbers. Do you want to do this? What actually produces energy for you and what drains energy? If something's not working, is it a system problem? Is it the fact that just I have to do it all and it would make a lot more sense to be able to do it if we have a team member? Like, what do these things look like? So it asked me a series of questions that ultimately came down to here's what the plan's going to look like based on all of the responses that you've given. So just a phenomenal exercise to go through and reflect, which then leads to the most important piece of this stage, which is building the plan. And in this case, not just I want to achieve these milestones, but looking at what is the budget that's going to allow us to get there. Let's actually build the spreadsheet that says, here's your income, here's the cost of goods, here's the expenses, here's the cash flow forecast, here's the dividends that we're going to take out of the business. All of these things, putting it into numbers that we can track as a business. And the most important piece of doing this is not just the budget, not just putting these pieces together, but putting it in the format of budget versus actual. So this becomes a living, breathing document that every single month we come in and say, where did we hit the goal? If the goal was $60,000 in sales and we hit 55, let's see that right there so then we can make the determination, do we need to change the plan? Or what do we need to do differently? Right? Do we need to add that missing $5,000 of sales to the next month? Or do we spread it out over a couple months? Do we still need to achieve that? Or do we start seeing different things happen? Do we start seeing that we're well over budget by $5, $10, $15,000 on the sales side? And maybe our goals were too low and we need to make some adjustments there. So being able to put this down into tangible kind of tactical things that we can follow and progress through. So when using the AI tool like ChatGPT did for me, I didn't do all of this alone. So, for some of you out there, you're going to listen to this and go like, Tanner, I hate spreadsheets. I don't want to do that type of stuff. Totally get it. If you can work with your AI tool enough and really get it to understand what it is that you're looking for, and then describe to it the easiest thing to visualize for you. In other words, saying, hey, I can visualize basically a P&L statement. I want to just be able to see, the budget numbers here. I want to see this. I don't want to build it all. I just describe what it is and then have it create the spreadsheet for you. ChatGPT, I think it's with its new 5.2 model or something like that, is getting really, really good at building Excel spreadsheets with multiple tabs and everything, like the more complex things that you'd want to do. Claude is really good at it as well. So you don't have to do all of these from scratch. let it do the heavy lifting, and then you come in and kind of make some refinements, things like that can speed up the process altogether. But this is the piece, right? We sit down, we have to do this planning bit first. Really affirm what the goals are, build the plan, ask the questions. That has been what this week has been. And if you can do it early enough in the month before we start the year, like I am working on or working towards doing at this point in time, is it gives me a week or two at the end to reflect on the plan that I put together so I can make tweaks and adjustments and get it kind of cleaned up and ready to go. So that has been the big component when it comes to this week's progress. The bonus note, the final thing that I have to express and I have to share in this episode here this week is really answering the question of why team is everything. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are early in your journey going out and hiring a bunch of team, that is a hard thing to do and hard thing to do well, especially if you're undercapitalized. So I say that as a preface first to not be the person that says, hey, go build a team when you're not ready for that step. As you progress through, you'll become ready for that step. When you're ready for it, the world will unlock. So we went through a process 3-4 years ago where we had hired out a team, had, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 people on the team at that particular point. Was not working well, and frankly, we were poor managers. We didn't really know what the jobs were. We were trying to just force a bunch of things into a little area. We were not ready. We had not graduated to that step. And the unfortunate reality is we almost lost the business. We almost ran out of cash and we had to let almost everybody on the team go. Very, very painful experience. Fast forward to today, I was literally thinking about it. I'm like, holy crap, we have 9 people on the team. 9. Wow. Talk about growth. And I know I've talked a little bit about kind of some of the latest hires in previous episodes, but in having conversations with these team members, it is becoming incredibly apparent to me how important this step is and how important it is to get it right. When you can attract and hire the right people in the right roles, the business feels incredibly different. And I just have to give a huge shout out to my team because when I sit down with each and every one of them, they're 100, I don't know, 110%, if that's even possible, bought into where we are headed as an organization. They are looking for ways to innovate within their roles. They're super excited to be a part of this thing. They feel supported. They're looking for ways to support one another. That culture is just absolutely amazing. And they're looking for every way possible to succeed in their specific role. Now, for those of you that are watching this and you've got teams, you've done this for years, I know that this is like preaching to the choir. But when you go through that moment for the first time, when you really have a team that gets it, and you can start to see this stacking of progress, the business growth starts to accelerate because you have people in the right places at the right times, doing the right things with the right focus. But that moment when you realize that it's not just about the job and the productivity of the person, but their excitement and their level of buy-in to the vision of where things are going, the impact that we have as an organization, that feeling is just incredibly hard to describe. So I encourage you, if you're watching this and you're a smaller business owner thinking, I don't ever want to have a team, like that's scary, that's hard, I don't want to do that. I get it. I've been exactly where you've been in the past. And I sat down and I told myself this year specifically, I was going to master and learn this lesson of team so that we could grow beyond what's in my head. It's not just about me. This pursuit of retiring my parents before the end of 2026 isn't about me. It's not about them. It's about the process of building something that can have an impact that extends beyond us, that the team can have buy-in to, that we collectively can shape what this means for our community and for the team members that we serve and have an impact that's, again, beyond just us. That can't happen effectively without amazing people. So become the kind of person that allows for that to be possible. Become the kind of person that attracts people onto your team. This is the lesson that I'm working through. I will have to double down and master it even more in 2026 in order to achieve this goal. And I'm super excited that y'all are with me on this journey. So that wraps up week 8. Heading into the holiday season. So with this, because I know that this will be out another week or so, this likely is the last episode you will see before the holidays. So Merry Christmas. So excited to have you with me. As always, let's continue to get out there and build some pretty amazing businesses together. See you in the next week.